So what you see here is a demo of the Arkham platform. So this is what we refer to as the internal intelligence portion of Arkham. So once you're at the Arkham home screen here, you can come in, you can click the little plus button here. There's a tutorial when you first sign up. You can add the crypto addresses that belong to you. So if you have like, a Ledger or a Trezor or some other kind of Ethereum address that belongs to you, you can add it here. You can connect to an exchange, or you can connect to a service like MetaMask, and then it'll sort of populate all of the addresses that are owned by you within that particular service. And we're going to add support for more wallet providers over time. So once you do that, it'll auto-populate all of your accounts. So here it'll add like all of your Ethereum addresses, your Coinbase address, Binance, so on and so forth. And you can see all of your sort of addresses in one place. FYI, this is not my real Ethereum address. I'm not doxing myself. This is a different random one. You can get a sort of overall sense of your cryptocurrency portfolio up top. So this would be sort of your crypto net worth at present moment. A breakdown of the assets that you hold. So this address holds Ethereum. It holds, 1/1000th of an Ethereum, something. And then on the right-hand side, you actually have your balance history. So this would be a description of what your crypto net worth looks like over time. So what we can see here is this address was sort of born or generated in June 2021, obviously to present day. It has plenty of time when it had no money. And then there are sort of a couple peaks where you can see it went from zero money to a peak of 200K back down to zero over this time. So what you can actually do is, you see we have a transaction panel underneath here, sort of denoting all of the transactions that have happened on this address. If you had more addresses and more accounts, it would accumulate all of these in a single place. So it would add sort of the overall distribution of your balance over time, your net worth over time into this graph. And underneath, it would show all of the trades and transactions all in one place in the bottom right-hand corner. You can actually zoom in to your balances and say, okay, what actually caused this thing to go from 0 to 200 grand and then fall back down? And then the transaction panel will automatically filter just for the transactions that cause that increase in money. So here you can see, if we look at the inflows, all of the inflows came from GSR Markets, which is a market maker. And then the outflows all went to OSL, which is an OTC desk. So this is an example of somebody sort of receiving a ton of money from a market maker and then outflowing it to an OTC desk in order to cash out into USD. Where the Arkham sort of platform gets really interesting then is not necessarily even in the internal intelligence portion, though this is a really great way of managing your portfolio and understanding what trades and transactions you're making. But actually in the search bar, you can then start looking for other sorts of large players, token insiders, all of the people who I described previously. So let's see an example of what it looks like to look up a proprietary trading firm. So I'll go with Jane Street, one of the largest market makers in the world. So here we can see Jane Street's activity and portfolio in real time. So what we have tracked here is about $593 million worth of their sort of crypto holdings or crypto net worth. This is what their crypto portfolio looks like. I can see a breakdown of the assets that they're presently holding, most of which are Ethereum. I can see their exchange usage over time. So here I can see that we have $25 billion worth of their trading volume and transactions actually labeled. And then you can look at all of the trades that they're making here. So you can see, they're making hundreds of trades every single day across a variety of different asset classes. You can see that they started here back in February 2020 to present day, and they dramatically increased their crypto position in November 2021. And if you want to sort of study a particular asset, say, for example, you're an Ethereum investor, you can then go to a company like Jane Street, say, well, I think they're really sophisticated. Clearly, they're a big holder of Ethereum. They have $500 million worth of it. That's the kind of thing that can move markets. Let me just filter for their Ethereum transactions. So you do this, and now you can see all of their Ethereum transactions in a single place, right? I can now cut out all of the other noise. I'm an Ethereum investor. I'm only focused on Ethereum. Now let me filter for their largest Ethereum transactions. Now instead of sorting by time, so their most recent transactions, I can now sort by size. So I can say like, okay, well, in this particular case, it looks like they purchased 116 million worth of ETH 10 months ago. Just 2 months ago, they purchased 100 million, another 100 million. So you can use this to try to understand more about what it is they're purchasing and what size. You can look at these sort of trades and then look at the price history to then see, okay, how much did this actually impact the market? And you can do this not just for Jane Street, but then all of the thousands of entities that are going around buying and selling ETH. Theoretically, you can create models that then dictate, okay, based on these purchases and sales, how much did it actually impact the price of this particular asset? At the same time, if I don't want to have to dig through the transactions, I can then visualize to then try to understand, okay, what are the actual venues where they are trading and where are the avenues that they're using in order to make all of their transactions. So if I wanted to sort of look at Jane Street and see, okay, who are the different counterparties, where they're depositing, what are the exchanges that they're actually trading on, I can do this using the visualizer. And then I can come in and say, okay, well, I just want to filter for their centralized exchanges. So only show me, where, they're trading on a centralized exchange. Now, all of a sudden, I have a much clearer picture of what exchanges and order books they're actually trading on. So I can see here, like immediately without needing to dig through their transactions, I know they're trading on Binance, I know they're trading on FTX, Kraken, Huobi, Gate.io, et cetera, et cetera. Right, so now I know not only the assets that they're trading, I know what quantity they're trading it in, and I know where the trades are actually happening. And I also know when they happen as well, right? I can sort of go through, look at any given transaction here. All of these different ones are sort of filtering for different amounts. And you can see sort of over time, okay, how is it actually that they're moving around their money? And you can use our Block Explorer feature to try to understand more about how it is they're actually moving everything around. And this is true not just of institutions or hedge funds. I can come in and sort of type any name of any institution or even an individual. Let's say I look up like a John. There's a ton of Arkham entities for people named John. You would need to sort of know what you're looking for. But any sort of person here, you can go through and try to understand more. Okay, well, who are the different people who are actually moving markets? It's not just large hedge funds. This includes large retail investors whose data we've captured as well. So thinking about all of the different strategies that you can use using all of this information, one of the sort of core principal things that we have seen people use would be the insider unlocking strategy. So we have Uniswap up here as an example of what it looks like when insider unlockings are actually done well. There are plenty of projects that do them poorly. There's plenty of examples online that you can find. Most of the ones that sort of crash spectacularly right after launching, those are really good examples of where insider unlockings go wrong, but those can be, highly profitable strategies as well for different traders who are looking for opportunities to short. So the insider unlocking strategy would be a place where you find who all of the insiders are, you see how many tokens they hold. So this would include the team, the treasury, the venture capitalists. You see how many tokens they hold, you see when it unlocks. That gives you a sense for, okay, when is the supply actually going to hit the market? When are these people going to start selling? And how is that going to influence the price? So using the insider unlocking schedule, you can say, okay, well, it looks like the vesting unlocking starts September, 2020. September 2020, I'm going to go in. Looks like a bunch of people are going to dump immediately for a large amount of money. I'm going to go carefully short and then try to understand more. Okay, as these people unlock, I'm going to monitor their sales to try to understand, okay, is this the kind of thing that is going to cause the price to go down because there's not enough buyers on the other side of the order book, right? If you're looking at an order book and it's incredibly thin, there's only $200,000 of daily volume. Of which 100,000 is people buying on the other side of the trade. If people are going to get unlocked and you expect them to start selling $1 million a day, but there's only $100,000 of buying volume on the other side, that's the kind of thing where you can expect the price to go down, right? Versus on the flip side, If it's the kind of thing where people are getting unlocked for $1 million a day, but there's 20 million of buying volume on the other side, maybe it's not as powerful of a signal. So with respect to the future of crypto trading and kind of looking forward at how this information will actually change the way people trade, we can sort of think about it all in terms of information, right? At the end of the day, the thing that moves crypto asset prices and asset prices broadly is people buying and people selling. The thing that actually moves the price of a particular asset is, how much demand and how much supply there is on both sides. So where markets actually sort of started, there was much less information capture than we have today. If you're sort of bartering, you're in an open market, nobody necessarily knows what price you agreed on. Nobody even knows what asset you were trading. There's no centralized order book, right? You're just trading, one-to-one. There's no real price discovery. You could be getting robbed on the other side. It could be a great deal because he doesn't have enough price information to understand what price he should be selling the asset at. But these are places where, at the time, 1400s and so forth, there wasn't very much information about these different assets and what they should be going for. They were just kind of going market rates, but there wasn't perfect info. Then we sort of moved to more formalized and centralized trading, securitizing the world. And now these are venues where there is significantly more information, more sort of traditional stock markets, right? Where now there are investor protections, there's sort of a typical market price that you can call in, get a quote, these kinds of things. Then we moved more to algorithmic trading, right? And algorithmic trading then meant you were getting price information in real time online. So it wasn't that you had to call a stockbroker and say, hey, what is this particularly trading at today? What are the prices that are going on in the market? Now computers are being fed direct information directly from the brokers, from the exchanges with real-time quotes. You can look at all of the info about what the volume is, what the prices that they're trading at are, and you can sort of use this to then programmatically make high-frequency trading viable. What we're moving to in the future and what's going to happen with crypto, especially as products like Arkham come to exist, is that there will be even more perfect information about what's going on in the market. So now not only will you know the sort of daily volume and you will know what the price of a particular asset is, but rather you will be able to look at the actual order book and know, okay, here are all of the different purchasers of this asset today. Here's how much they already hold. Here's how much they purchased this asset for, and here's how much sort of total volume they each individually did. And you can start creating more perfect models of all of the information about who all of the buyers and sellers are for your particular asset class, thereby making markets significantly more efficient.